You know, Johnson Controls has been a vendor with us for a very, very, very long time, Cochrane Supply. Actually, funny enough, my dad, he worked at Honeywell, and he left Honeywell to start Cochrane Supply in 1967, and Honeywell wouldn't set him up. But you know who did? Penn Controls, who is now owned by Johnson. So our Cochrane Supply's first vendor technically was Johnson Controls, so as a direct relationship. But Johnson Controls keeps evolving. They're a fantastic partner of ours. They, not unlike the other vendors, are going through a huge technology shift. And for this program, and I hadn't met him before, but I'm super impressed on our call, I asked for a technology leader from Johnson, and they gave us Jamie Cameron. So Jamie's gonna come up, he's gonna talk about Johnson Controls, he's gonna talk about the technology that they're working on, and give us a good picture of what's going on with them. So Jamie, come on up. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, good. This is old-fashioned. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Cochrane Controls, for having us here today. My name's Jamie Cameron. I run the digital team at Johnson Controls, and I'm going to talk to you today about a couple of things that have already been talked about a lot this morning. So I'm going to try and bring them to life. So I'm going to talk a little bit to start with about kind of what OpenBlue is and the way that we're looking at it, just to give you a brief overview of our digital business, and then I'm going to drive into three topics that have been covered quite extensively today, and talk about how we're solving those in the real world. So cyber, platform, and AI. So firstly, what is OpenBlue? Well, OpenBlue is effectively a platform that sits on top of all of the different building systems and delivers value and ROI into buildings. Whether that's around workplace management, whether that's productivity, energy efficiency and sustainability, or operational equipment and performance. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about any of that today. I'm going to focus on the three areas that you see around the bottom. The cyber, it came up. It was a very good plug for my presentation, talking about Mythos and all the things that's happening in the industry. And I'll talk a little bit about that and how we're approaching it and how we're trying to solve for that. Then I'll talk about the platform. You know, a lot of what I showed you there was, and a lot of what you've seen this morning has been kind of dashboards and UI and putting data up into the cloud to do it. And you know, we believe at Johnson Controls that the dashboard is dead. And you know, we're not putting dashboards out into the market anymore. It's all about AI agents. It's all about conversational AI and being able to interact with your building in a different way than you've ever been done before. And the foundation of that is something that we've been building for the last 4 years, which we call OpenBlue Platform. We named it OpenBlue because it is open, it is available to everyone, it sits on top of any system that you've got within the building, and it creates that data structure, that integration layer, to then enable a number of use cases and enable AI. So it's our platform that we use for that. But firstly, I'm going to start off with talking about OpenBlue Airwall. So we have a desk back there which has the OpenBlue Airwall on it, and you know, I was heavily involved 4.5 years ago with an acquisition that we made of Tempered Networks, and Tempered Networks has progressed to become OpenBlue Airwall. And really, what we saw in the market was that the IT environment was very well protected. You know, we were the main owners of Nozomi and other cyber companies, and we could see that these IT environments were really well protected and understood. But actually, in the operational technology space, it lags massively behind. So we went out and acquired Tempered Networks about 4 years ago, a Seattle-based startup that had a really interesting history. It was Boeing engineers that had combined with Microsoft engineers to build this company called Temper Networks. And Johnson Controls acquired it for three main reasons. One was to protect all the equipment that we put into the market. So anything that's shipping from Johnson Controls has the OpenBlue Airwall and that cyber protection that I'll talk about built in today. It's obviously there's a lot of legacy hardware that doesn't have that same protection. The second thing is to protect environments that are already in play today, already to protect that built environment. And then the third was as our mechanism of getting data out of a building in a secure way and into the cloud. So we recognized a huge amount of risks. We saw with smart buildings all of these problems that we have today, and we solved that through the Airwall. So we've got some live demos and things that we can take you all through today. But one of the things that's fascinating that's going on in our industry was really the conversation that Jim was having this morning around Mythos. I mean, I think it was only 10% of the audience had heard of Mythos. So I do encourage everyone to go and read about it. It's a transformational thing that is happening in our industry, and we fundamentally believe that with the OpenBlue Airwall we have a solution that counters that, and that's really powerful for us as a legacy BMS provider as well as being an IT provider. So what is the Airwall? The Airwall is a zero trust network. We heard about that a little bit earlier. It talks about micro-segmentation, threat prevention, rapid policy and access control, compliance, and it's available both on the cloud and on-prem. So it's a really powerful piece of technology that we use to cloak environments and to make these environments cyber secure. So the way that it can be used is a multitude of different ways. So we use it in the everyday to remote into various different systems. So secure remote access, micro-segmentation, patch mitigation, network monitoring. This technology is the foundation to actually preventing these cyber attacks, and we're gonna do tomorrow. I think on stage we're gonna do a live example of actually showing what happens if you see a cyber attack coming into your environment, and how the Airwall can lock that down and shut that down in quick time. So a little plug for Dom's session tomorrow.
It's today, after this afternoon.
Oh, is it? Oh, even better. I thought it was 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't even have to wait till tomorrow. Perfect. So before Airwall, you had lengthy and very error-prone and complicated architectures, VLANs that were running all over the place. And then once you put in the Airwall, you get a secure, faster to deploy, and simpler to use at scale platform. And we have a number of critical infrastructure clients that are using this technology. So whether it's to do micro-segmentation in a data center, or whether it's to protect an oil line across all of Texas from being able to have people coming in, and to be able to do remote access and various other things. Airwall has a huge pedigree in the OT environment. And it's really powerful. So we've got some live demos. We can show you cyber attacks happening in real time, and how this helps prevent it. So I think when we acquired the company 4 years ago, it was really about our own technology and our digital platform and getting data out of buildings. But actually, what it is now becoming with where the industry and what is happening in the world today is pretty remarkable. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. The second thing is one platform, and Eddie from Code did a fantastic job of explaining this. But we view great ideas being locked in the basement. I think someone earlier said 80% of building data is unused, and we know that. And there's buildings have a huge amount of data to offer, but it's fragmented and it's difficult to understand. And we believe that we have the expertise across all of the operating systems and the data platforms to be able to understand the data and then deliver value. And the value is not about another dashboard. The value is actually actionable. And last week I was in New York with some of our largest customers, and just being able to see the value that we're able to give to the control system by just enabling things and enabling the command and control from the cloud is hugely valuable. So we give customers their data. It's very difficult for you to get the data out of the BMS and to get the data out of the different systems. And really, what we're doing with our platform is we're creating a standardized schema, standardized schema and standardized integrations. So we have 200 plus integrations already built across various different types of sensors, BMSs, HVAC systems. We use all standard protocols. We open source most of it, and we have this concept of bronze, silver, gold data, so that you can understand what data you want to pull out and what data that where you want to invest your time to be able to enable either you to use the agents that we've built, and we've built a lot. I mean, we recently, 2 weeks ago, we acquired quite a large AI company out of New York, a company called Nantum AI. We went out and we acquired them because we feel that they've built some of the best agents around comfort, optimization, and sustainability and things. And those agents are already plugged into the OpenBlue platform, and it made sense for us to acquire that AI technology and have that embedded within our platform. And then obviously the zero trust that I spoke about earlier. So there's really one question left, which is where do you go to interact with with the building's data? And we have a developer portal, so it's open for people to use, and it's in one place. So those 200 integrations that we've already spent a huge amount of time, effort, and money building, they are available. So if people want you want to pull a API connector for an indoor air quality or a specific sensor, the chances are we've probably built it and it's available for you for you guys to pick up. So this is where we're trying to take the industry. I was involved in the launch of OpenBlue 4 or 5 years ago, and one of the things that we wanted to be very clear about when we launched OpenBlue was that it is open and it is available for everyone. This is not my group, which is about 1,000 people within my team, mainly engineers, mainly about 500 engineers, and our job is to build something for the industry. We are trying to disrupt the industry from within it, and fundamentally, I believe that that data and AI will drive this forward. So, coming on to AI and the autonomous operations powered by AI. Now, look, we've heard a lot this morning about AI and what it does. So I'll rattle through these very quickly. But I think there's something that we've all got to be really careful of, which is the core principles of AI governance. What does it actually mean, for customers, for suppliers like us, and as we're producing these algorithms, what are the guardrails? What are the things that we're putting in place? Who are the organizations that you can trust with the building data to actually be able to, look after it and explain why actions are taking, and making sure we keep that human loop in there. We have the largest plant in the west of America, a plant that's owned by Resorts World in Las Vegas, and we've put our AI and machine learning algorithms into that plant to make it run completely autonomously. So that plant runs with no operators. They have no operators, and the plant, which is the largest plant in the west of America, is running with no operators and no one on site, which is slightly scary, but also pretty exhilarating when you think about it. So we're on this journey. We're on this journey to transform buildings from static entities into smart strategic assets. As you see here, there's a lot of things that can be done in the building around enhanced energy efficiency, smarter space and occupancy, better building performance. We've really been doing this for the last 140 years, and now it's about now finally we've got the tools and the data available to do that. So we're taking it. We started with chat, and we launched our chat bots about a year ago, and it was interesting, and it's great that people can ask the various chat bots what they want to get from the building and what they want to get from their spaces. But really, it's about these next levels that we're really looking at. Agentic is where we're focused on, and where we see this going, and really we see it as the newest member of the facilities team. We see it as being able to take a lot of these things and optimize them and do them in a quicker way. I myself, use agents every day in my daily life, and it's definitely made me a lot smarter. I find when I go on a plane, or I don't have access to AI and the internet, I don't really know what to do. So this is the modern world that we're living in, and it's only going to become more. So loads of opportunities that to focus on. I know a lot of people. We saw Jim put up the full list. These are some of the ways that we're thinking about it, and we've actually got it. We've got customers that are using it. We've got all these different types of AI algorithms and things that are running in lots of different sites. I mean, some of the things that we're doing in the Middle East is pretty incredible in terms of the level that we've taken it to with humanoid robots and various other drones and things. So the capabilities are there, and we certainly see some of the stuff happening in the Middle East and Singapore and the Far East as leading the way, but equally, we've got some very exciting things that we're doing here. 270 Park in New York, JP Morgan's flagship building, that has OpenBlue rolled out into it, and we have another 50 sites across the globe with this AI software delivering value for these types of customers. And it's not just about those customers. It's every customer. This is going to be game changing, and I just wanted to come here and give you guys a glimpse of what we're doing at Johnson Controls, and as the way that we see the industry. So I think I'm slightly over, so apologies for that.
No, you're good. You started late.
Excellent. Well, look,
Yeah.
thank you everyone for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank
We're
you,
here all day.
Jamie. Well done.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, the Johnson Controls, they're investing in technology. The open air wall solution, which they brought, we've been just bringing it into Cochrane Supply and learning about it. And one of the interesting things about cybersecurity in the building space is we always talk about remote access to the building being the cybersecurity issue, but believe it or not, we deal with such large portfolios of buildings that their intranets are security issues as well. What's cool about the open air wall is you can actually put that relay inside of a network, unlike a typical VPN where it sits on the cloud, which essentially allows you to secure the network within the network, right? Not every building you have to go get off-prem access to, right? So anyways, just something to think about. Great presentation. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Johnson. Excited about it.